know that story.
Oh,
Hear that story. All right, you guys, welcome to Sunrise Extra. It is our unscripted online show. I was just reading up about this. So there is a bill that is awaiting the signature from Oregon Governor Kate Brown that would ban so-called love letters that I've written one. I know you've written one. You've written one.
My wife has written one. Let's be honest.
Have you ever written one? No.
Written a love letter?
This is
I have never a love letter.
I had never heard
but not in this case.
that until today.
Yeah, like home buyers' letters to sellers saying, you know, I've driven past this house for so many years, or I've dreamed about this kind of house, or this is what my family's like, and blah, 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 hoping to entice them to pick you.
The first two homes we bought, our realtors, and there were different realtors each time, they encouraged us to write one of these letters.
Same.
The first one, the first realtor told my wife, include a picture of your family too. I think that will help you, get this offer.
So that is one of the issues.
The second time, that was not suggested, and we did not submit a picture. Again, neither time was I really involved in this process. Mia just told me, hey, I wrote a letter to the sellers.
I'm telling you, I must be just completely oblivious, because until this, I had never given it a second of thought that it would be a problem.
Well, we haven't told the people what it is. Yeah. So there is this bill that was passed, and the Oregon Association of Realtors supports it, that says, hey, we should not let buyers write these kind of letters. Let's ban them because it might violate the Fair Housing Act. And the theory is that if you were to submit a picture of your family, or if you were to say it might promote like racial discrimination or discrimination of any kind.
Any kind. Somebody that's like you.
Right.
The worry is that if you send it to me, I'm like, oh, she's a news anchor, and we used to live here together, and that there are enough similarities, including race, or it could be sexual orientation, it could be gender, it could be anything, where it may kind of cross the line.
Right.
And then the others, anybody not like you, wouldn't have the same shot. So that's the problem.
Yes.
It makes sense. I don't know if we're going to weigh in on all our opinions yet. We want our viewers to weigh in on this as well, and some of you may just be hearing about this for the first time, but I think you've explained it perfectly. Are you ready to chime in on whether you think this should go through?
Well, some realtors say, hey, actually, I have seen the opposite happen, and families, who are, deserving and maybe, have, I don't know, like different experiences in life, have gotten the house because of that. And so, I don't know.
Maybe they have some sort of barrier to getting a home in general that maybe writing the letter.
That a family kind of identifies with and says, hey, I want to choose this family, because they've, had discrimination or something like that go on. So realtors have weighed in and said, we've seen it go both ways, but generally maybe we should just ban this practice outright. Yeah. So to make it fairer.
In this market where people are bidding above asking price and trying to get every little advantage, I never thought that I would bid over asking price. I'm like, wait a minute, I remember, when I first bought my house, you were trying to nickel and dime them. And so the whole dynamic has changed. We didn't get it with our letter. The seller wanted more money. He wanted the one with the highest price. I don't think they cared where it was coming from. It's like, you're going to give me more than her, you're in.
Do you have a strong feeling on this, whether they should be allowed or not allowed?
I could, maybe this is more of a condo homeowners association type of thing, but I could see that could get very sticky very quickly in that type of situation, right?
Say more. What do you mean?
Well, like a homeowners association is not just for like a group of condos, right? You could be in a neighborhood that's kind of a gated community or something maybe, and then there's a little bit more weight between who's moving into your house and and then so that leads to the ability
I'm in a homeowners association. Unless I don't know.
But they don't have any say in who buys your house.
Us buying the house.
And they wouldn't see those letters.
So I don't think that has anything to do with it, honestly. Yeah. Okay. This is my second homeowners association. I can tell you right now, we're not in a gated community. I really don't know why I'm part of this homeowners association, other than we were told you have to get into this house on the street. And basically, they're there to keep me from putting a satellite dish in the front of my house, or painting my shutters a weird, color that no one likes, and things of that nature. the first time I was in one, it actually was pretty cool. We paid $330 a year, which I didn't think was that much considering we got a swimming pool in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we
and
have
like
one.
to me, that was worth that $330. Our kids could swim every stinking day in the neighborhood. There was also tennis courts up the street that we could use whenever we wanted. So I thought, okay, I'm getting something for this.
And a workout
$300
room.
a
Do you
year.
have that?
No, we didn't have that.
Okay.
But it was something. Now I get nothing. Other than the inability
headache.
to paint my shutters whatever color I
And a
want them to
mortgage.
be.
Yeah.
We're getting off topic.
This is funny though. I just have to say one thing about the HOA because this is the first one really that I've bought into, and I don't know. I feel like on the inside I'm a bit of a rebel in that regard.
Right.
I'm like, stop telling me what I can do with my property. However, we signed on and we are in the HOA, and the first I think week or two that we got there. We were still moving in and getting things organized, and the recycling was on the side corner of the house. And I got a picture of that and a letter from the HOA saying it was allegedly there. I'm like, well, you got the picture of it. It's not allegedly.
Proof.
But it was just funny.
needs to be out of view or something like
We still
that?
laugh
Yeah.
about that, because there are so many rules.
Hey, new girl.
Yeah, really.
Follow the rules.
Yeah.
Or else.
Is that primarily just to protect home values and the prestige of the neighborhood?
I think so. I think that's the idea of it.
Well, getting back to this, I thought to myself, it doesn't bother me either way. I never thought it was a problem with those letters going out. I could see the argument that's being made against these letters. I understand, why people are suggesting that they go away, and if they decide to get rid of them, then I think, because ultimately, like you said, I know the biggest factor in these home purchases is the money, right? Not too many people are accepting offers way lower. Like if they get 3 offers and yours is the 3rd lowest, but you have the great love letter, I still don't think you win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really comes down to, in most cases, the money.
So I guess a lot of it is actually like family status, more so maybe than like race or skin color or something like that. So they say that, we cannot discriminate against or favor home buyers because of their family status. Like you picture homes with children or kids playing outside versus like single people or, a couple who never is going to have children. Maybe the family gets chosen over the single,
It really isn't a race
couple.
thing in most cases, because how many people in these letters are starting with that line? We're a white family. We're a black family.
Right.
We didn't put that in our letter.
No, but I think the
there's a
picture,
photo or something.
that's where
If
that
there's a
Or
comes
picture.
saying
in.
But
like,
they're saying
my
that
kids
these
go to
letters
school
are
nearby.
They're banning these letters even without a picture. I mean, take the pictures out of it. I can understand maybe getting rid of pictures if you want to get rid of that look. But the letter alone, if you're just saying, hey, we're a family of 3, we love your home, we can see our young 2-year-old son or daughter, whatever you may have, enjoying this backyard, it's things of that nature. I mean, how can that really be considered harmful?
The article that I pulled up was talking about proving discrimination, very difficult.
Right.
And this particular article said, as of now, they don't know of any case that's been brought because of a love letter to a seller. However, they say the most effective tool to investigate this kind of discrimination is a controlled process called testing. And I do remember hearing about this. The testers have comparable economic and social characteristics. They only differ in that the area that's being investigated is discrimination based on race. So a black family goes to the apartment or the home seller or whatever. I think this is more tenant related. And the landlord says, I'm sorry, black family, we don't have any units available. Then they stick the exact same people with the same qualifications, but they're white. And they're like, oh no, we have a unit to show you. So, I mean, it's really complicated. Again, I've not thought of this really. I haven't given it a deep thought, but you can see how it kind of can get muddy.
Right.
Well, that goes beyond the letter, that scenario you just explained.
But it's cited in how you prove racial discrimination in
I thought what you said was
housing.
interesting. It's like we have this Fair Housing Act. It's now 53 years old. It said in 2018 it was the 50-year anniversary. And you were saying that it seems like it should cover,
Yes.
the existing, like this might be just a secondary on top of everything, the rule we already have.
I see what you're saying.
Like we already have
not
this
necessary,
no
maybe.
discrimination. But I guess if you really don't want it to subtly happen with the letters, you just get rid of the letters.
Is there a part of you that thinks, now we all are homeowners?
I don't care about getting rid of
we
the
all
letters.
are homeowners. Although I can't say I really own that home. As I tell my kids all the time, you see how much I still owe on that home? Do I really own this home? No.
The bank
The
does.
bank has the greater ownership
You
of
own
that
the
home.
couch in
But
that
the fact is, we're trying to pay off homes. That is the greatest possession I'll ever have in terms of monetary value. Part of me thinks, like, shouldn't I be allowed to sell that, my greatest monetary possession, the thing that's of most value to me? Shouldn't I be allowed to sell that to whomever I want to?
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way.
And I don't, I'm not saying I can be discriminatory, because I know that we should not be discriminatory against people for all kinds of things.
But that's the only thing that we're talking about.
Right.
Is it discriminatory in some way, shape, or form?
I'd like to have knowledge of who is putting these offers on the house, and I'd like to be able to say, hey, you know what, I'd like to sell my house to you, or, you know, for whatever the reason. I was thinking of a scenario where, you know, maybe someone is, maybe you have a one level, which, you know, if you're in a wheelchair, if you are physically handicapped and you know, typically you can't live in a house with stairs, right? It's a one-level house is going to be best for you. Maybe someone in that scenario sees this great house and says, my gosh, I would love to have this house. I'm going to put the best offer I can forward, and I'm going to write in my letter how, like, this would be so perfect for me. Gosh, I hope that I can be the one that gets your house, because I can, you know, here's all my difficulties in life. These are the things I struggle with, and your home would suit me perfectly. Well, man, I'd like to sell it to that person and help them out in their case, if I was the owner of that house. But now we're telling me that I can't accept it.
That's what this person was saying on Facebook, and they said this can actually harm a BIPOC family if they were to write a letter to a homeowner appealing for compassion because they want to get their kids maybe into a better school district or a lower crime area. So, you know, if you write that letter and say, hey, you know, we aspire, we want to, you know, be in this neighborhood.
That's tough, though, because as the seller, I'm going to take the highest offer.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm in a position where I need that.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in a position where you don't need that, and that is a luxury that I can't quite fathom yet, but I mean, maybe you do that.
And I wouldn't judge you for
rough.
taking the highest offer and selecting the highest offer over these other offers that had beautiful love letters attached.
Of course you can't.
Yeah. So
isn't that what maybe I'm wrong here, maybe I'm way wrong, isn't that what a real estate agent does? I mean, don't they talk to other agents? Don't you have a buyer, or are you, I mean,
you're saying, like, maybe the agent...
We had somebody help us buy our home, right? Yeah. So, I mean, are you going to then dive into that relationship and see, I mean, I'm just seeing, is there a slippery slope here?
You're assuming that realtors are talking to each other about who's the potential buyers are.
Yes, and if you're, I mean, if you want to, I mean, how much further down the road do you want to go with that?
Are they not allowed to do that? I don't even know, to be honest with you.
No, I would assume of course they talk. That's how, you know,
right.
You know, you're looking to make
because they usually come back, your realtor will come back to you and say, hey, you know, you're one of 4 offers on the table right now.
Right. So how do they know that? Well, they obviously talk to somebody about it, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the other real estate agent, you know, so if they're actively looking to be discriminatory, certainly that type of conversation could happen in that closed quarters, and you'd never know it, right?
I think you're absolutely right.
Shannon Thompson, good morning to you, says, my friend did get his house because of his letter, and he put in the lowest bid. Shannon, did they tell him that? Is that how he knew?
Right.
It must be. And then Christy Shirk says, I know a young family that wrote a letter and sent a picture and got the house they wanted.
I wonder if that really only happens in a buyer's market. You know, like, does that very much happen now, that a letter makes any kind of difference, unless it's the highest amount?
Right.
You know?
The real question we're asking, though, is do you think these love letters should be allowed still, or do you agree that they should go away? And I don't know if people are weighing in on that specific question.
I think it does even the playing field of, it's numbers, man. You know, just submit a number and we'll see where you fall. Like, that's the only chip you have to throw in the, you know, in the gamble. And if you get rid of all of these other extraneous please, 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 you know, kind of situations, then it does level the playing field, discrimination or not.
Right.
Then you're not like, dang it, I should have written a letter, you know, or like, I should have included, you know, I mean, who knows?
I think, you know, these days it would be hard, the scenario, if you were selling your house and you were moving on and you'd been in the neighborhood a long time, and because they're trying to get more housing density in neighborhoods, they'll take a lot and subdivide it and maybe put 3 houses. That, if I was used to the neighborhood and all the people I was leaving behind, and they're like, oh, I love this, and look at all the row houses.
Versus like selling to a developer.
Exactly,
and you don't know
exactly. That would be hard.
We live in a corner lot that's very desirable. You
So you get hit up all the time?
We get hit up, and it's like, no, that's...
Yeah.
I don't think our, you know...
Because, developers do come in. I mean, boy, we went through a huge stretch of that in Portland where developers were coming in, and, you know, they always have the highest
bids
offer
and
because
cash.
they can. And, you know, they're going to make, double that or something when they put 2 houses on that spot.
I dream of the day where a developer comes in and
Stop.
offers me something for my house. But we asked for people's opinions on this. Verity Sage. Verity, I don't think I've ever seen your name come across the stream before, so welcome to Sunrise Extra. Verity, she says this is the perfect example of ludicrous legislation. So I think that's her opinion right there, loud and clear. Shannon Thompson shared a interesting story. She said, we had to meet the World War II veteran that owned our farm that we currently live on before we were allowed to look at the farm, or actually before we were able to put an offer on this. She said that we had to pass this World War II veterans quote-unquote test. She said the real estate agent they were using told them this isn't normal. We understand this is not normal, but this is the only way the gentleman is going to sell his farm is if you come and meet him and pass his test.
What was the test?
Good question. That was my follow-up question too.
See, would that be?
Well,
I mean, what is his? Yeah, he only knows in his own mind of what
So what do you
kind
think
of
Shannon Thompson was
family
looking for,
he's
and why
gonna
did he sell it to
choose.
you, right? That's the question.
Goldie Roberts says, honestly, being a real estate agent, not everyone takes the highest bids. Say more. I want to hear more about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Who said that,
interesting.
Brenda?
Goldie Roberts.
Goldie Roberts.
Okay, so I have Clarity Sanderson who says she's a realtor. Have we heard from any other realtors yet? She says she's a realtor. She applauds the move. And Clarity says she applauds it because, and as I'm saying this, you just got a like to your comment. Clarity says she applauds this move as a realtor because these love letters, she says, do more harm than good. Or at least they have the potential to do more harm than good. We really need to address wealth disparity in the marketplace. So Clarity, as a realtor, says no to the love letters.
Gary Skolnaki says, let's face it, the letter should be illegal, but how the heck would you enforce it? Even proving discrimination in housing situations is very hard to prove. My neighbor's got $100,000 over asking. This honestly scares me. Is our next generation able to even afford a home? Many can't now, and it just seems to be going from bad to worse in regards to affordability, not to mention the stress along with all of this.
And Angel Slaughter says we are selling our home and we're glad letters are no longer in play.
I saw that comment, Angel. I'm curious why. Why are you saying that?
I think it does. It just evens the playing field of like, all right, submit your offer and we'll see what happens, you know?
What I love
like
that-
there's no extra little
Clarity
No problem with that.
following
Yes.
up with the smart
Did you-
devices
that's
listening.
good, yeah.
Haven't we done stories about that?
yeah.
In this
Lots of
day and
people do
age,
that.
believe
Is that
me,
legal?
sellers have
Is that
smart
legit?
devices
Listen,
in
you
their
guys
homes.
did that.
Seller
you
is
had your
listening.
Ring doorbell or whatever it
yeah.
was.
Your
and
elf
you
on the
could-
shelf? What, like?
No,
As people were coming out of the house and be like, oh, I really
that was
like it. Or, I
spring
don't
break
like
2
this
years ago in
room.
2019. I went back to see my family in Philadelphia. My wife was with me, and she was very much in tune with her phone during that entire trip because our house just went on the market that weekend. And yes, the Ring doorbell let us know every time someone was coming in to look at the house, and we could hear the comments as people were leaving the house.
Of like kind of final
Yeah, like,
thoughts.
why did they paint that room that color? Oh, and like me, they were like, what's wrong with that color? Or like, you know.
See,
and
that would just drive me crazy. I would just be like, la 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 la.
But the theory there
send
is
in
that
the
maybe you're
offers.
getting a little nugget of what could make, you know,
honestly, I think
could fetch you a couple extra bucks.
my wife put the Ring doorbell camera up there because she is completely paranoid about many things in life, and she thinks, you know, someone's going to break into her house and she wants to catch it in the act. That's why the doorbell's there, or the Ring's there. It just happened to be, you know, now we're selling the house, so we got all that activity, and I will tell you that we got about 3 seconds of a conversation each time someone passed through. It was usually the middle of a sentence, but my wife was still like trying to pick up any nugget because she's curious. It wasn't going to help us buy or sell the home.
Shannon Thompson is weighing in with an answer. So this guy who wanted to meet the veteran, he wanted to make sure to keep it a homestead and not change it. He wanted us to be able to keep it up and have the same idea for the farm as he did.
Okay. Zelda on YouTube. Hello. Good morning to everyone watching us on YouTube. She says, when I sold real estate, I would introduce my buyer's offer with a bio of those wanting their home. It helps. If someone's a jerk, their letter may reveal that.
Interesting.
What about like, yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, if I'm completely okay with these letters going away. I would never fight to keep these letters, you know, on the books. I do think that they are not necessary and we can live without them and we'll be just fine.
It wasn't extra, just...
You know, I could also, like I said, I'm also okay if they stayed on the books, and I'm also okay with people having a say in who they sell their home to. You shouldn't discriminate against someone for any reason, you know, whether it's sex or race or religion or any of those things. But, you know, you should also be able to decide who you sell your possessions to. And maybe you're really close with these neighbors that you live next door to for 20 years, and they say, whatever you do, Drew, could you please not sell your home to someone who has 22 kids? Because I think that would be like crazy to live next door to someone with 22 kids. And I said, all right, I'll do you a favor. I won't sell it to that family that has 22 kids. Is that wrong?
Yes.
It's discrimination. I mean, against family with kids.
Why is it wrong for me?
Who maybe want to live in a.
There's another family with 12 kids that wants to live there too.
Kids.
I'm going to pick them because my neighbor said not to sell to someone with 22 kids. And
Actually, I probably overspoke. I was thinking not overspoke. Deciding what's discrimination versus what's preference.
Right.
Right. I mean, discrimination has a legal term. It's a legally defined term, right, against certain segments of our population. Preferences is
protected classes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I lost one. Darn it. Go ahead. Keep talking.
What if the person said, what if your neighbor said, hey, whatever you do, I'm deathly allergic to dogs. If you can avoid selling to someone that has a dog, I would love you for it.
You, dude, that's your problem.
But that's not your problem. That's not a protected class. He's right.
Yeah.
There are certain segments of the population as of now that have certain legal standards against discrimination.
Right.
I don't know that is one of them.
Pet owners, yeah.
Yeah, my point is just that I don't think it's wrong if someone decided, you know what, I got 2 offers, this person has 2 dogs, this person has no dogs. My neighbor made it clear to me that they'd rather not have dogs live next door to them, so I'm going to go ahead and pick this family that has no dogs. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But again, my big point, I think the letters can go away, and I would have no problem with that too.
There you go.
Willie Huey asked the best question of the day, Drew. Did you see that?
What did he say?
We were glossing over the biggest topic from yesterday, which is who won the bench press challenge. It wasn't a challenge. I'm sure Drew could outbench me. But
I didn't even know we had a bench press challenge.
We were joking about how we were going to go downstairs into the gym and use it. I was giving you guys a segue, an opportunity to get out of this discussion, but it's a good discussion, by the way.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta do a little Today Show cut-in stuff.
All right, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Tomorrow.
There's no.